what I have for you today is about a 25 to 30 minute yoga flow. It's designed to bring balance, especially for folks who do other things like run or cycle. The first few minutes are primarily warm-up, so if you start warm, if you just came in from a run, then you may cut those first few minutes off and just begin when we start with the longer holds standing. I hope it's helpful to you. I'm going to speak it as we go, so let's begin. We're going to start in a child's pose. Knees nice and wide, big toes kiss. You'll stretch your hips back to your heels, your arms forward, and rest your head. We'll stay there for a few breaths. Child's pose is about finding a little bit of mobility in the hips. It's about finding length in the low back, the softness in the shoulders and the face. And it's about finding the breath. So find your breath here, full and unhurried, and keep that breath throughout the whole time to signal to your body to relax, that it's in a good space and muscles can release and relax, okay? And now let's inhale forward to all fours. Bring your knees directly under your hips and your hands under your elbows and shoulders. Take a nice full inhale, and as you exhale, round your back. We call this cat. So you're tucking the chin, tucking the tail, spreading the shoulder blades. And then inhale and extend the spine, spreading your sunshine, lifting your gaze, and melting your heart. Do that 3 or 4 more times with full unhurried breath. And exhale to flex, and an inhale to extend. And you can breathe in and out through the nose if that feels good. There are certain breaths we use in yoga, but I would just say a natural breath in and out of the nose, or in the nose, out the nose. One more time, just like that. Exhale here, and then inhale here. Now you need your fingers spread out really bright, slight external rotation like you're opening a pickle jar. Keep that slight arch in the back, that cow-like quality, as you curl your toes under and press yourself back, downward facing dog. Now down dog gets a lot of face time in yoga, even though you can't see my face so well, because it has many different qualities of many types of postures. It is a standing pose, an arm balance, an inversion, and a forward bend, so it's a really big bang for our buck. We're looking for length in the low back, gang, so if you bend your knees and spread your sunshine, see if you can get rid of any little praying mantis bubble in the low back and find lots of length there. All right, let's take a nice full inhale here. As you exhale, walk yourself forward. For many of us, our knees need to bend a lot for our hamstrings' sake. When our hamstrings are tight, it pulls on the pelvis, which pulls on the low back, and that's not what we're after. So we're freeing the hamstrings with bent knees and just letting the head hang heavy. I'm talking, but you're breathing full and unhurried this whole time, please. All right, and then let's bring the sides of the big toes to touch. Bend your knees, bring your hands above them, and round your spine again. Tuck your chin to protect your neck, and then we will roll up very, very slowly from there. All right, this is the warm-up section I spoke of, which you may or may not need. We're at the front of your mat, hands in a prayer position in front of your heart, and here we go. As you inhale, reach up and look up. As you exhale, take a side bend to your right. Inhale, reach up and look up. Exhale, and side bend to your left. Inhale, reach up and look up. Exhale, and dive into your forward bend again. Soft knees, please. On your inhale, lengthen your spine. So if you're really flexible, fingertips touch the floor. If you're not so flexible, fingertips to your shin. And now from there, step your right foot back into a long running lunge. And then step your left foot back to meet and take an inhale. As you exhale, you can come all the way down, or some of you know halfway. I'm going to show all the way first. Pinky toes down, arm bones up, back and down. Then we lift our heart. We call this a low cobra. And then as you exhale, curl your toes under. You can press back through kind of puppy dog. and then back into downward facing dog. Now these sun salutations can get more or less fiery according to need. That was more gentle, okay? On your inhale, float your right leg behind you. Exhale and send your right foot through to a lunge, mirror you. The left foot steps to meet and lift halfway. And then exhale and forward bend again. On your inhale, rise and shine all the way up. And let's do it again. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, full unhurried breath. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, dive into your forward bend again. On your inhale, halfway lift. And now the left foot steps back. The right steps to meet. We're in plank pose. And then inhale here, exhale halfway down or all the way down. It could be a low cobra or full upward facing dog, which is toenails touching. All else is lifted. And then with an exhale, bring it back, downward facing dog. So that's a little less gentle if that's what your body needs. Inhale, lift the left leg. I'm mirroring you now. Exhale, send your left foot through to a lunge. Right foot steps to meet and lift halfway. Exhale, dive into your forward bend again. Inhale, rise and shine all the way up. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale up. Exhale, dive into your forward bend again. Let's repeat that on both sides. Inhale halfway. The right foot steps back. The left steps to meet. And inhale here, exhale high to low. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, bow your head to your heart. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. If it doesn't make it, that's not a strength thing. That's a flexibility in your hips. Just help it. The left steps to meet and we lift halfway. Exhale and forward bend again. Inhale, rise and shine all the way up. One more just like this. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale up, exhale, dive into your forward bend again, soft knees. Inhale halfway, left foot steps back, right steps to meet. Inhale here, exhale high to low, halfway down or all the way down. Low cobra, bigger full up dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale and bring it through. The right steps to meet and we lift halfway. Exhale and forward bend again. Inhale, rise and shine all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart center, and I'll pause, we'll meet there. Okay, step your feet together, sit low, and then reach high. This is chair pose. It's really nice for runners because it's a good stretch for your shins. It's also a great way to just warm up from the inside out. All right, deep breath in, friends, and then exhale here, forward bending. Down we go. Halfway lift. And this time, step or hop both feet back, high to low. Back bending. Downward facing dog. Exhale. All right, inhale, lift your right leg behind you. Exhale, bend your right knee, and then inhale, lift your right kneecap to the sky. Try to keep your shoulders square and twist rather from the belly button and below. The left knee is soft and breathing. It's not locked. We don't lock our joints in yoga. Take an inhale. As you exhale, send your right foot through to a lunge. Here we are. Now we're going to pause there. This time, keep your left hand down. Inhale your right arm up or even up and over. Take a nice open twist. So a lot of this flow is about finding freedom in the shoulders and the hips. It's a way of undoing what especially athletes do in their other sport or genre of choice. Let's take an inhale here. Exhale, release that hand down. Find your balance and we'll meet in crescent lunge pose. Crescent lunge is a bit of a back bend, so lift your heart. Breathe into the front of your left hip. Take a nice full inhale here as you exhale, hands to heart, and then inhale, open wide. We'll meet in warrior two, right side, your right side. So this is a hip opener, although if you're new, your quad's gonna think it's all about them. But we're definitely getting a nice opening through the hips here. And we can add the sideways with your right hand, take it up, reach forward, and then dance back without losing the bend of the knee. This is reverse warrior. Full unhurried breath, friends. Inhale as you exhale, come forward and down, straight right leg with soft right knee. The body as if between two panes of glass. This is triangle pose. Same full unhurried breath again. Take an inhale. As you exhale, release your hands to the earth. Step back through plank. You can ditch the flow or you can keep it every single time. It really depends on what your body needs in that moment, okay? Let's try the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bend the knee. And then inhale, open the hip. Notice your shoulders will want to turn too, but we want to keep our shoulders squaring and twist rather from the lower half. The right knee is soft and breathing. Inhale. Exhale, send this foot through and let's meet in that same low lunge. Again, if it doesn't make it, that's just flexibility. Don't stress out about it, just help it, okay? Inhale, the left arm lifts up to the sky. Nice easy twist here, nice open twist. So you can follow it with your eyes, or really if you're new and it doesn't feel good in your neck, look wherever it feels best for you, okay? Take a nice full inhale, exhale, release that hand down. There's a bit of balance to crescent lunge. So go slowly and find yours. Inhaling up. So really focused here on opening up through the side body, but also the psoas, that deep hip flexor on the right now, gets a stretch. Let's take an inhale here, exhale, hands to heart center. And now you guys will be in warrior two on your left side. Again, it's a hip opener, although when I rode bikes a lot, I always thought it was just about destroying my already destroyed quadriceps. But it's meant to open the hips, so your left knee is moving out over the second, third, fourth toe. And then flip your left palm, reach forward, and bend back without losing that bend in the left knee. This is reverse warrior. Full unhurried breath. Remember, tell your body it's safe, it's in a good space, relax. Take an inhale as you exhale. Let's come down into triangle pose, straightening the left leg. And again, the body is as if between two panes of glass. The drishti, the gaze traditionally is up, but it doesn't have to be, okay? Let's take an inhale, exhale, release your hands down, step back through plank. You can keep the flow, or you can ditch it. It's always yours. We're gonna do all of that one more time again, okay? Let's take a nice full inhale. As you exhale, you can walk, step, or float to your hands. On your inhale, lift halfway. On your exhale, forward bend again. Sit low and reach high. We'll meet in chair pose. Inhale. So standing poses, according to Iyengar, who's certainly something of a master, are the foundation of our practice, especially when you're new, because we understand where we are in space much better when we're on our feet, our normal relationship to gravity. Let's take an inhale, exhale, dive into your forward bend again. On your inhale, lift halfway. You can step back or you can hop back. You can keep the flow or you can ditch it. Really try to approach a yoga practice as a place of undoing. So if you're ever in doubt, then please leave it out, okay? Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, open the hip. Twist from the belly button and below, soft and breathing in the left knee. Inhale, exhale, bring this through, and we'll meet in a low lunge. Inhale, the right arm reaches up or even up and over. Twist through the lowest part of your spine. I'm talking, but you're really focused on deep breathing. Take an inhale, exhale, release it down, and then inhale up, we'll meet in crescent lunge pose. A bit of a back bend, the heart is open. Take a nice full inhale, exhale, hands to heart center, and now undo that back bend. So there's a slight tuck of the tail, the right knee tracks out, second, third, fourth toes. Beautiful. The line is from our palate to our perineum, so straight through the body. And then keep that generous bend as you reach forward and dance back, reverse warrior. Take an inhale. As you exhale, straighten without locking. This one is about creating equal length through the underside of the body and the side on top. So it's not really about how low we go, but rather how long we can be. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, release through your low lunge. Step back, keep the flow, or ditch it. Yogi's choice. Down dog is where we'll meet. And again, inhale, the left leg lifts. Bend the knee, and then open the hip. Soft and breathing in the right knee, not locked. Joints are meant to breathe. Take a nice full inhale, again, exhale, and bring this through to a lunge. Dragonfly twist, so reaching the left arm up or even up and back. Still the breath of it, right? Paramount. Take an inhale, exhale, release that hand down. Find your balance. There is some balance. Crescent lunge pose. Inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. And then inhale, open wide, warrior two on the left side. So see, we're not back bending here, right? We're bringing it under, we're opening the left hip out, pressing through the outer edge of the right foot and pumping up the arch of the right foot. And then flip your left palm, reach forward and dance back. The gaze traditionally is up, but it doesn't have to be. Take a nice full inhale here, gang, as you exhale. Again, not how low, but rather how long both sides of your waist can be. Take a nice full inhale here, gang. Exhale, come back through your low lunge into plank, and then you can find your flow or not, yogi's choice. And back we go. So we're going to do a little bit more standing, but our intention now is to twist. So there's like different components that are important, and twists are certainly one of those, okay? So here we go. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. And now bring it through to a lunge. For a moment, revisit crescent lunge, please. So here we are. Bring your hands to your heart center. The sides of the waist are really long, so the spine is lengthening as we turn. Your elbow presses into your knee, but your knee presses back, and with length through the back body, we're turning. Unhurried breath. Friends, let's take a nice full inhale. Exhale, take your hands down, undo that twist, and now shorten your stance by almost half. You're aligned heel to heel with your left toes pointing to the upper left portion of your mat. For most normal folks, we're not on the ground because we're finding length. So we're lengthening out of the side body, pulling the belly away from the hip, and then with the knee soft and breathing, square the hips and start to turn. This is revolved or twisting triangle. My first yoga teacher called this her greatest thinking pose because it's hard to really focus on the breath in this weird place. Ideally, the hips are square, so the right hip bone is back, the left hip bone is forward, the inner thighs are squeezing, and we're lengthening to turn. A nice full inhale, not an easy one. Exhale, release that, step back through your low lunge, and then into plank, and flow or not. And back we go. Inhale, now the left leg lifts. Bend the knee and open the hip. Take a nice full inhale here, exhale, step it through, and we'll briefly revisit crescent lunge together. So right there, side body long. And then let's add that rinse, hands to heart, lengthen to turn. Again, the elbow presses into the knee, but the knee presses back. And we're creating as much length as we can through the low back. And if you were being very traditional, the gaze would be up, but it does not have to be. Take a nice full inhale here, gang. Exhale, release that, and shorten your stance by about half. A twisting triangle is not easy for anybody, but if you have really long legs, which I don't, it's even more challenging. So the hips are square, the knee is soft, we're lengthening, and then starting to turn. Perhaps your greatest thinking pose too, just breathe. A nice full inhale, friends. Exhale, unwind that and step back through your low lunge into plank, and then find your flow. All right. So now that we're nice and warm, we're going to use the warmth to open up a little bit more deeply in areas that matter most when you are an athlete, okay? So inhale forward into plank. Exhale all the way down to your belly now. Make a pillow with your head. Let's do your left arm first, and then from there, bend your right knee. Now remember, your knee is just a hinge, which means it should be directly behind your glute, and then if you can, you'll take hold. If it's too tight, then don't do it, okay? So really what I say often in classes, there's no sensation in the knee that's good. If you feel your knee, it's not good. It's best to back off to let go. So these are super, super strong quads, especially if you're a cyclist. They're your prime movers on a bike, often. Breathing into those. And if you don't feel the knee, you can really slightly tuck the tail, engage the glute, and really pull in. And let's do the other side, shall we? So again, in yoga, we really try not to be attached to certain outcome. It's a good lesson for competitive athletes because sometimes you can't control an outcome. So we're not trying to control whether we can or we can't or value that. We're just doing what is healthiest for our body today. So if it's a hinge and you can take it directly behind, do. If not, or if you feel your knee not worth it, don't. Still focused on that nice full unhurried breath. Now this may not be for every body, and that is okay. If it feels okay in your body to take hold of both, you'll take hold of both. The knee should not splay. The knee should be directly underneath the hips, so it's really only about a fist width or two. Some of us may have our feet and we may just stay here. Some of us may kick into our hands without splaying the knees. Some of us are flexible enough that we can take the ankles, flex the toes back, and then really lift. So, it is pretty electric. It's gonna wake you up, you'll feel it, get your heart pumping, but it is also very much about undoing, right? We live in a forward bending world. Cyclists are leaning over their bikes, runners are often tiring forward. We are undoing that here. Opening up the front body. And let's take a nice full inhale, gang. Exhale and release. And then just take your knees to one side, twist from the back, or your feet rather. And then take your feet to the other side. And then let's take a nice twist here from the back. So creep your right hand out, 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 out. If you have no shoulder injuries, it'll be straight out like a half T. If you have shoulder injuries, you can angle up or down, and then roll over onto that hip. The left knee bends behind. And this is meant to feel good. If it doesn't, then don't. And so remember, what's really very great, simple, and yet profound about yoga is that it addresses the whole body, understanding that when you have an ache or a pain in one place, that it is not that it's only in one place. It's an alignment issue that has to deal with things above and below, whatever that injury point is. So we're just trying to look at the whole body holistically and work with that. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Left hand creeps, 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 and then we roll. Shouldn't be on your bone, but the fleshy part where the shoulder and the arm meet. Head rests. Deep breath. And let's come back to center. And would you pick yourself up either to all fours or straight into plank as your body needs, and then exhale back, down dog. We sometimes call down dog a neutralizing pose. So we're neutralizing here before we move on. All right, and then would you drop to your knees, please, and flip over onto your back. Back bends build on repetition. I say this in class a lot. So it's fruitful to do a couple of back bends in a row. Some of you guys are just gonna do bridge 3 times. Some of you may do bridge and wheel once or twice. It is up to you, okay? So hands by your hips, please. I'd like you to think about moving sequentially through your spine. So tuck your tail and then peel off. Tailbone, lower, middle, upper, and then you're resting on the back of your shoulders and the back of your head. You know you're not putting too much pressure on your cervical spine if you could lift your head. I'm not asking you to, but you could, yeah? And let's go down once together, friends. So take an inhale as you exhale, melt the heart. Focus on the bony middle as a separate entity, the lower back as separate from the tail. If that's really hard, your hip flexors are probably really, really tight. So it's not allowing you to release and roll through your spine. This is how we work on it. And then let's go up again. The gaze stays up, please. Take an inhale as you exhale, tuck the tail, and peel it up, 1 vertebra at a time. And then from here, so if we were in Pilates, it would not be such a back bend, but in yoga, we can make this a real thoracic spine opener by lifting our heart through our shoulders and perhaps interlacing our hands beneath. If you practice even this simple practice that we have here almost every day, you'll be amazed at how quickly you see changes, results. Eventually, the heels of your hands will touch and your arm bones will be all the way on the ground. Maybe not today, but eventually. Take a nice full inhale here as you exhale, unbind and slowly roll down 1 vertebra at a time. Windshield wiper your knees to the right. Nice and easy. Windshield wiper your knees to the left. The one thing we do not do is hold in. So we're not forward bending until we're done back bending, especially if you're not really, really young. Your spine needs time. And we're gonna go up again. So inhale, exhale, press and peel. Bone by bone, ascend up. Some of you will stay in bridge. I would not suggest wheel unless it feels really available to you. If you're doing wheel, your knees are only about a fist width or 2. Your toes point forward and not out. And then you'll have some teachers who will have you come to the crown of your head first to reset your shoulders. To me, there's far more potential injury risk by being on the top of your head with that kind of extension than the gain your shoulders get, so I usually do not teach that. But if you're in doubt, then leave it out. Just go back down, stay in bridge, and let's all take a nice full inhale here as you exhale. Unbind and bridge, you're bound, and slowly roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. And we're gonna do one more. Nobody finds these particularly easy. This isn't particularly relaxing, but basically we are opening the whole front body. It is a really powerful undoing for our forward bending world. So you'll either stay in bridge, or if it feels available to you, you'll press into your feet, take the weight into your legs, and rise up and wheel. You do not want your toes to turn out, which they will want to do if you're really tight. So your toes either point forward or even slightly pigeon-toed. Opening up the whole front body. A nice full inhale, friends. And then exhale, unbind and bridge, and slowly release down, bone by bone. And that's a good check for gains and flexibility is right there. We are as old as our spine is flexible. Windshield wiper your knees to the right. Windshield wiper your knees to the left. And then knock your knees together. Internal rotation. For many of us, this is really hard. So we can externally rotate, but when we're asked to internally rotate, which our femur bones are meant to do too, it feels really awkward and tight. So we work on it.
Hey, sorry about that.
All right, the last thing we're gonna do are our hip openers. So if you would, just flip over onto your side, press yourself back into downward facing dog. Use this as a reset. When you're flowing, you're doing a lot of hamstring work already. So we're not focusing too terribly much on that because we already did a lot of that when we were doing all of those sun cells, okay? So let's focus on the hips, shall we? We're gonna inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee and open the hip, and then bring it through for pigeon pose. Now, pigeon pose is all about the hips, but the gateway to the hips is through the knee. If your knee is unhappy, I'm gonna show you an alternative in a minute. If you're contented with it, back bend first. That's still about the front body. And then forward bend from there. The ultimate expression of pigeon as we progress in our practice would be right thigh, right shin rather, parallel to the front edge of your mat and your hip bones all the way down. For most of us, not so much, but that is eventually where we go. I'm in a room with students, friends who practice bar with me, and when you practice a lot of bar, pigeon gets much harder. Get really strong and really tight in your hips. Now the alternative, if your knee is discontented, is what we call reclined half pigeon or lazy half pigeon. It's exactly the same stretch with no compression on the right knee. So that is your alternative. If you're here, you flex your foot right and then really pull in. I don't want to keep you guys too terribly long, but hip openers are postures you could keep a while. In fact, 4 minutes would not be unreasonable, although it may feel unreasonable right now. Full unhurried breath. Sometimes I have a friend, Rachel, who sets a timer. She just doesn't like to be there so much that she times herself. For our purposes, we're going to take a couple more breaths. And then we're going to move on. If you are on your back, you'll just roll over and press back to down dog. Those of you who are still in that seated half pigeon and that forward bend, peel yourself up and then just press yourself back into down dog as a reset. Again, think of down dog as like resetting the back body, getting your spine into its neutral alignment before we start again, okay? And then let's do the other side, okay? Inhale, lift the left leg, bend the knee and open the hip, and then bring it through for pigeon. A flexed foot is a happy knee, so the foot is flexed. And then here we are. And then you'll notice almost immediately one side is going to be tighter than the other. As much as we work on symmetry, it's ever elusive and we never really get it. So you're here unless you have issues with your knee, in which case you're on the supine, you're taking it on your back, same stretch. We're not going to stay too terribly long. I want to wrap up for you guys, but you could definitely spend 4 minutes on each side. Maybe set a timer. Staying a little bit longer, but for our purposes, we'll be back in down dog one last time. Traditionally in yoga, you'd spend about 25% of the time you spend practicing in what's called Shavasana, which is just resting on your back. What I'm going to suggest for the athletes who I think will use this, it might be very fruitful to take your legs up a wall, Vipariti Karani, or like a supported shoulder stand with a block under you, and your legs up a wall. We're going to close here, but spending time relaxing is good. So let's walk ourselves forward. You would be taking legs up a wall, maybe, or a supported shoulder stand, or resting on your back, but for our purposes, we're gonna roll up. Please remember, folks, that this is not frivolity, this is not extra, this is essential, especially when you're not 20 anymore, and you have to keep your body in really good alignment in order not to get hurt in any place. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. See you soon.